All right. That's enough of that. Good morning, everybody. We are live from the Hive. I hope everybody can hear me all right. I'm going with some natural lighting in here this morning because it's sunny out and it's kind of making me feel better. So yeah, I had a late night. Good morning, everybody. How is who do we have in here so far this morning? I see Ring and Greg and John. Good morning, and Jade. Hello, everybody. Hello. We are live from the Hive. It is Saturday morning, 9:30 Central Standard Time, October 8th. October is maybe my favorite month. My second favorite month. July is, because my birthday and stuff, and it's the middle of summer, all that good stuff. But the last July wasn't all that great. So October is here, and we call it spooky season around this house because Halloween is right around the corner. Last October, I did Alien-tober, I think it was UFO October, UFO with the O being October. Anyway, I don't even know how I would have pronounced it, but that's what we did last year, and focused on aliens from beginning of October onward. Now, this year, I decided just to be more open with October because a lot of things happened in October, historically speaking, that come into play in like the cryptic community in the 14 community. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning. And one of those things is what we're going to talk about this morning on CryptoCorner was one of these October events that I couldn't even talk about last year because I was doing aliens and it's not alien related. But first, take note, we are in a different position. They're in the same room, but different position. Trying out different angles for the hives. I got this big corner desk here, but I've kind of set it up so it's like divided my bedroom into an office space. So let me know what you think about the lighting and the audio from this angle. Got my creatures back here. The decor will fill in as time progresses, but got my giant mantis that somebody sent me, a giant mantis plushie. Got all my spiders, except for the new one. The new guy is right here next to me. This is our new gal, I should say, because she is female. That's what our Patreon dollars bought us this last week. So it is a Grammostola pultra. If anybody is familiar with what they call a rose hair or pink rose hair tarantula or pink rose tarantula, Indian rose tarantula, Atacama tarantula, it is the Chilean rose hair. They are also in the genus Grammostola. They are a lighter tan to gray color with rose-colored seta, which is the hairs on tarantulas on their abdomen, and cephalothorax. So they have like a pink hue to them. This, however, is their cousin from Brazil, and sometimes it's called the Black Beauty tarantula because they are black as night when they mature, and I cannot wait till she grows up and I can see how black she is. Right now she is black, but she's kind of a charcoal black, like a muted gray. They get like an iridescent black, like a black, as black as a crow, as black as a panther, as black as a black cat. I cannot wait because she will be adorable and I'll have her for years to come, hopefully. So let's see how that goes. But that's our newest member of the Hive. Thanks to our patrons out there on Patreon. If you did not know, the Hive does have a Patreon account. It is in the links down below. If you're interested, you can just $1 gets you as to be a patron to the Hive, and you can help contribute to what we're building here or rebuilding here, because as you can see, the Hive is well, the Hive's always in a state of repair, though, or a state of construction, under construction permanently, because we're always going to be upgrading and doing things, trying to do things better for the creatures that live here. We want to give them the best lives possible. We'll try to do better for the audience and the content that we put out. And of course, the content that we put out here is not always all about my creepy crawlies. In fact, on today's venue, nothing at all. So that's kind of a little bit of housekeeping that we have going on here. Other than that, yeah, I got 2 monitors now, so that's making things easier, and I can thank my employer for that, because one of these monitors is my my work monitor that I could just plug into my laptop here to give me just a second screen. Makes production a lot easier. Makes it easier for me to keep up with the chat here while I have something up full screen streaming, which it does kind of get to be a little bit of a pain when you only have one screen, especially when I only have this one tiny screen. Now I just got you guys on here talking to me, and got a nice big screen over here to do our presentations on. So I can see what's going on over there and interact with everybody in the Hive who I love so much. Look at the trees. Good morning. And glad that you and Amanda decided to roll in this morning because we are going to be getting into the weirdness soon. And I had it mixed up. The thing that takes place in October was not even Cryptic Corner. Now that I look at it, it's something that I'm covering as part of the, and you can see it from the thumbnail if you're curious what I'm talking about. It's part of Creation Watch. Usually I wouldn't include something like this with Creation Watch, but Our Lady Fatima is what I'm talking about. It took place on October 13th, but the main source that I keep hearing claims about it from are from Creationist sources, and in that community, like S.J. Thomason and stuff like that, talking about the validity of the miracle of the sun. So we are going to get into that. We are going to delve into that, but first we have Cryptic Corner, which is going to be a little more classic. If you'd wonder why I'm going back to classic, it's because last night we went totally off the rails, talking all kinds of wild Nazi weaponry of the late World War II. Because if you missed it last night, it was fun. Had Matt, almost a doctor, in to talk about some secret weapons of the Third Reich. It was an interesting discussion. We talked about the V rocket program, which I learned a heckload about from Amanda out there in the side chat about she did a stream about a year ago, I think it was, where she talked von Braun and in the Project Paperclip, where they took the Nazi scientists. Now, Project Crossbow was the project that kind of put the cork into the V2 rocket program for Germany with a bombing campaign. So a traditional bombing campaign, no super science there, but V2 rockets are what ended up getting us onto the moon, ended up getting us into space. The V2 rocket was the I don't know if they did. I don't think they ever got a manned person to break orbit, but they did. The V2s did leave Earth's orbit and come back down, and they were devastating. Anyway, we talked about that. We talked about the Oberth's Sun Gun. Yes, it was with Chris Shelton, so that was a good show. Yeah, I remember because I produced it, love. It was fun. It was my first time I ever met Chris. And we also talked about the sun gun, Herman Oberth's sun gun idea. Herman Oberth, another great contributor to rocket science in general, and with NASA owes a lot to him, but he did he did work for the Nazis first, and he did have an idea for initially it's just like a space station, right? And he took that idea to higher ups about and talked about these different solar panels and solar mirrors and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, let's make a giant death ray out of that, let's do that. But they were far away from ever getting into space. Between that and their failed nuclear program, they were really flailing. Of course, the pinnacle of the show last night was the Die Glocke, the bell, the German doomsday device of mystery and intrigue that apparently never was a real thing, unless you want to claim that the Kecksburg acorn was that. And we will we will eventually get to the Kecksburg acorn, because that is quite the narrative as well. Good morning, Crafty. Good morning, Jason and Tobin. Good to see everybody rolling in. Happy that we are getting things going, but we are not going to talk about Nazi weaponry this morning. But I do want to thank Matt for coming on. And if you missed the show last night, I recommend going back and watching it. I didn't put timestamps in on it yet. I probably should for the multiple topics that we covered. But what we're talking about today is we're going back to back to our roots in Cryptic Corner, and looking at some maybe you call it cryptozoology. What we're looking at is similar to sightings of the orang pendek, or what do they call it, boggogo. Anyway, this one comes to us from South America. Now, this is very similar to in kind of the way that it's reported, to things like the South American ape creatures, the Deloitte apes. What we covered one that was seen in a Brazilian city, but this is on the other side of the continent, and these things are a little bit different. They actually come from folklore. They're called Pombero, which means like little firemen, I believe. Anyway, so this is our topic for Cryptic Corner today, also known as a Pombarito. They are little creatures that allegedly live in the central regions of South America. Argentina is the main place, but also Uruguay, Paraguay, southern Brazil. They are sighted in this region, or alleged to be in this region. They're kind of more like a fairy than a Bigfoot, though. It's supposed to be just this little guy who he's like a nature spirit. He goes around the forest and protects the society, protects birds and things like that. He protects, like he's essentially a character like a boogeyman a little bit. I mean, don't shoot the little songbirds with your slingshot, or Pombero will get mad and come at you. He whistles is another distinct characteristic of him. But I'd never really heard much about this little creature. Yeah, there's a statue. His name is Peter. This is Peter DeTucker. You may be a Pombero, but you're not from the right area. I guess we could kind of tie this into the Nazi super weapons from last night, because Argentina is where a lot of those Nazi scientists and such were escaping to, including Kammler, who was a leader in all these, pretty much everything that we covered last night. Kammler was the head of the department that was handling that. He was their super weapons guy, and he disappeared, never was found. So maybe he did run off to Argentina, and the we'll just speculate that the Pombero got him. The Pombero said, "Hey, you are responsible for all this evil. It's time to take you down." But we're not just going to look at a statue of the Pombero today. And you're the only YouTuber from the right area. Yeah, I do love your country, Peter. I'm not gonna lie. I am not going to lie. What did Doomverse say? Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, we're not just gonna look at a statue of this guy and learn a little bit of folklore. I don't mind that. It's a interesting creature, very, very much like the orang pendek, except for a lot of tie into nature, like it does all the bird songs and things like that. It can imitate. Anyway, I didn't know much about it. To me, I just wrote it off. It's just, okay, this is the South American version of the orang pendek. But looking into it more, there's a lot of like rich folklore behind this, and it goes back to the indigenous people's folklore. So it's a little bit deeper than that. It's not just, oh, their version of something another country, another people group has come up with. It's their own unique thing. They have their own unique character to this entity, and we're going to look into that. And we're going to look into some of their sightings. Now, you will take note that the people who see this generally act terrified, like it's some kind of demon or monster. So I'm going to assume that in the culture that this is not a good thing if you're seeing this guy, because people scream and run. Now, these are all going to be of a variety of quality. Some of them are going to be completely silly. But here we go. Let's watch this first one. I'll blow you up and rewatch. Okay. And they're all in Spanish, or maybe some of them are in Portuguese, but we're not going to be able to hear it too much. But just walking through the forest, chit-chatting. And I think she was topless. All right, now there we are. There's what we're looking at there in the center. Toward her head just went in front of it. Watch that black form over there. Right there. See it? It's gonna. Here we go. What is that? So there's focused in on it and move towards it. And it started walking, yeah. Now, I will tell you that to me, this video looks like and this is from 12 years ago. This has been uploaded a long time ago. This one looks like somebody who's pulled their knees up under their shirt and it's kind of walking like that. Just a silly little thing. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Gracious, that was powerful. Hope I didn't scare my bugs. Anyway, that looks like somebody that pulled their legs, their knees up under their shirt, and is kind of walking like that with their knees bent up underneath them like that. It just, yeah, this is I'm forgiving a bit of the bad filmography on this because of the time frame. It's 12 years ago. So what year is that? That's like 2010. Yeah, they're just, I had a shitty camera back in 2010 too. Curse you. I do take Gesundheit. You also watch Dogma on YouTube. Yeah, it's hard to find it anywhere else. None of the streaming services carry Dogma, and I think Dogma is Kevin Smith's like magnum opus. Morning, Gurr. Morning, Brian. Yep. All right. So let's, native atheist, everybody pop it in. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see what else they got for us with the El Pombero, the mysterious creature from Argentina that protects the forest and scares children and people out walking in the woods, allegedly. Come on. Why are you loading so slow? I don't know if my connection is just really slow or what. Let's see what we got. All right. All right, we're going to restart it because it was being all weird and slow. I'm just going to load again. Good grief. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my connection. All right, so there's this big audio introduction. Here we go. We're going to see walking through the woods. Go figure. But this has nothing to do with walking through the woods when we get up to the actual sighting. So, all right, I'm looking for the. There we go. See a little closer. I don't know what they're saying here, but if you watch behind this tree back here, you got a little bugger peeking out around the edge. I don't. Resolution is not good enough. The dogs are all about it. It pokes its head around. Pokes its head around. What do you guys think? This is a could be any number of things due to the distance away. You know, she's absolutely gorgeous. Where are we going now? We're underwater. I didn't even know the Pumbero exists underwater. I thought she's holding her cell phone there, though. So apparently, there's more to this story than just this. This is about a missing kid and stuff. These are people out a search party out looking for him. But the video so it showed a Pumbero back under the water again. But I want to let's pause this for a minute. I'm going to read the description of this video because there's more to this than. And this is fairly recently. This is from 5 months ago. Let's back up here and translate this to English and see if we can get a little bit more on this story. The last hour, strange event. In the last hours, a strange event was known in the province of Corrientes, in which neighbors accused a creature known as El Pombero of kidnapping and almost drowning a child. Fortunately, a barking dog alerted the neighbors and they were able to rescue the creature from the water. What? Give me the whole thing in English, please. The creature from the water. That's probably a translation error, maybe, because of the order of. Yeah. Anyway, so everything happened last Wednesday in the city of Beron de Estrada, where Mariela Escalante, mother of 3-year-old minor, resides. These translations aren't always the best. She was working in a butcher shop when her son, Sebastian, told her that she was going to play that he was going to play, maybe. He was disguised with a cape of Captain America, and he told me that he was going to go look for comic book characters, said the woman. According to her, they began to look for the creature in other neighbors' houses, which he usually attended. However, when they did not locate him, the neighborhood, the concern began. He didn't have classes, and I knew he was on his way to my sister's, but he never got there. We live in desperate times, she added in dialogue with, yeah. So I wish I spoke Spanish. Maybe I should send this to somebody who speaks Spanish and they can translate it for me. But this is a whole report on this Pombero allegedly kidnapping this kid just 5 minutes ago. So I may have to revisit this. This is a little more detailed than I was prepared for. And I don't speak Spanish. I can pick up some Spanish words, so I heard him talk about a kidnapping at search party when these two folks were talking. But anyhow, we may revisit that. That was Godspeed, just so silly. Got to roll the R's. Yeah, I try to roll my R's. Again, Spanish is not a language that I'm really well versed in. My ex-wife was fairly fluent in Spanish, so I did learn a little bit from her. And working in factories with the migrant workers in my late teens and early 20s, I learned some Spanish there too. Not the good Spanish though. All right, let's move on though, because this is a big case. This could have been this case could have been a whole video in and of itself. I would love to delve into it and explore this. Let me know if that's something you'd like me to do. Maybe we can revisit this. Like I've been doing these Thursday or Friday night streams as well. Maybe we can revisit this and I can get somebody on that speaks Spanish and we can watch this news report and try to kind of understand what's going on and investigate the sighting and the claims and what exactly happened in this case. If you'd be interested in seeing me do something like that, I will go ahead and put a 1 in the side chat, and I will. And if so, I will plan on that being the evening stream that I do later this week. I don't know which day yet. I have to look into my schedule and see which evening would be the best, but watch the Hive for updates. But moving on past this this El Pombero sighting, we are going to be moving into an area of shorts. So yeah, these ones are, again, varying quality. All right, so we got some kids playing. Presumably playing soccer or football. There's our Pombero crawling in the background. No indication that it's anything. The kids panic and scream and run away, but there's still no indication that it's anything other than a person crawling, maybe doing like an army crawl and then getting out. Like, so this place here doing like an army crawl, and then they get their knees up underneath them. Right there. Yep. And then they start kind of crawling and the kids run away. So that scream is pretty that scream doesn't sound genuine to me. So the scream to me makes me, and there's a whole ton of videos, like when I was looking for good ones of this, there's a whole ton of kids trying to pull off Pombero sighting videos with their friends via various methods, but mostly just them wearing dark clothes and moving around in the background is is the essential that these guys go through. So there's, again, varying quality. This was one of the better ones that I think was just kids trying to do their own Pombero sighting. Let's see. And next we have, oh yeah, this one's like what I was talking about here. But let's rewatch this one. I don't speak Spanish, so someone else will have to translate. You got more people walking through the forested region at night, chit-chatting. Looks like there's structured trails here to walk on, structured walking paths. And the forest doesn't look as especially natural. Looks like it might have been artificially planted. It could be natural, but just cleared in a specific way. But there's a little guy. Another person bouncing on their knees with their legs tucked up into their shirt is what that looks like to me. Feel free to disagree with me, but that's what I see. All right, what do we have here? More El Pombero. Let's go. Some people sitting over in the trees. So we're looking in this area in the middle here. See movement? See movement? Okay, somebody or something coming around this tree. The dark area there is a tree. I don't know how well that's conveying. There we have the little dude coming out. He's wearing the hat, which is sort of trademark for the Pombero, is the little hat. This is the only one of these videos where he actually has the hat, though. And I think this is just somebody coming up the trail with a hat that they're trying to sell as a Pombero. All right, not impressed. Let's see. What about this one? Are we going to find a convincing Pombero video? All right, there's back there by the fence. There's our Pombero. I want to hear what the sound is. Let's see, kids dancing. Dude is right back there by the fence. Looking at the ground. And peers back up. Looks like, yeah, it almost looks like, so it almost looks like somebody leaning. Oh, no, I need to mute it. Like somebody's like sitting there chilling, leaning against the fence there in the background. The boys are just messing around up here under the street light. They start walking towards the individual, and individual gets stirred up, moves to sit. Looks like he's picking his stuff up off the ground, but the kids run. Another situation where I just don't see it. I don't see this as a monster. I just see it seems like a person sitting back leaning against a fence, being maybe annoyed by some kids moving with music playing, moving towards them. So like maybe they're smoking crack. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't see any reason to assume that it's a monster or any kind of inhuman creature. All right, we got one more. Oh, that's not the one. Where's the one? Gosh dang it, did I lose it? I had one with where the cops shot it. you see when you look it up, you get these same videos that we've seen with Orang Pindek, just presented as this creature instead. So that shows you what the similarities between the two and how similar they really are. Let's check this out. This is just the same video that we've seen hundreds of times of the people riding their motorcycles through Indonesia. And why is my signal so slow today? Everything's taking forever to load. I don't know what's going on with it. Do I sound roboty to you guys today? I'll refresh this. I don't know, maybe it got hung up or something. There we go. Come on. Just play the dang video. For freak's sake, I don't got any other videos. Hold up. All right. I wasn't even wanting to really dig in and watch this. Okay, it's talking about the history of the Pombero. What we got going on here? Somebody. Oh, yeah, there's the. Okay, this is the one we just kind of watched a minute ago. The clown looking at. What is this one? What the heck? See, he's wearing the hat there. I want to watch that again. No, that was epic. Did you see that? Look at that. Oh, one more time. Excuse me. Here he comes. Sorry, I had a bad cough. And there's the hat too. Grab kids. And this is not from. This is the one that said that I was talking about. This one's from like somewhere in Southeast Asia. I can't remember where. We watched this video and we explored it, and it turned out the leading culprit for this individual is like a native pygmy people or small. God dang my throat. Or a smaller statured indigenous population that still lives in like a Neolithic state in these caves and deep in these forests. And they hunt, and as you can see, it's carrying a little spear. But this, I mean, I'm not saying that that's for sure what it is. That's the leading theory on what that was. As you can see, some of the depictions of it give more like give Pombero a more gnome-like appearance. Okay, this one we just watched it. Yes, okay. Little shrines to him and everything. Did we see this one already? Oh, let's see. We'll be looking at. Do you see anything here? I'm not. Blow this up. Maybe that's why I'm not seeing it because it's too small. Yes. Okay, I think that's the shaky cam's not. I'll watch that again too. So is that it moving along the trail right there? Okay. And it's coming up the road after them. I think that's the only clips included with this one. But it gives you an idea of kind of the quality of Palmbaro sighting, Bigfoot, and things like that. Except for, to be frank, it's just easier to hoax. So that's I think that's why you see a lot more of these, especially you notice that it's always these kids that are presenting their Palmbero sightings to the community at large. So I think it's just a popular thing for young people to do in these rural areas in Argentina and in Brazil, Uruguay, and Paraguay to do with their TikTok accounts and stuff. So that's my opinion on it. And that is Cryptic Corner for today. A little bit shorter, but like I said, we had a huge Cryptic Corner last night. So cool, right? We're going to be moving on here in just a moment, but I want to give everybody a chance to have their questions answered if they had any about the stuff. Yeah, I'm a little choppy. Yeah, I'm not sure. Since I moved things, I've been having issues with my Ethernet again, so I'll see what I can do about that later. So I apologize if I'm choppy. I think I am on Wi-Fi right now, which kind of sucks. But so we're going to be raising a Goliath bird-eating tarantula. It has plenty of room compared to most of the cyborg implants. I do love Goliath bird-eating tarantulas. I have almost bought one. It was like $200, but it was an adult male. And having an adult male, that's like maybe a couple years out of it if it's an adult before it passes away. So unless you can find somebody with a adult female that you can breed it with, you're buying a short-term pet. I mean, that's like the mantises, I guess. They're short-term as well, but I don't know about spending that much money on something if it's going to die within just a few months. Because once a tarantula, a male, matures out, the days are numbered. Once it has, for most species, you can tell because they'll have the hooks on their front legs, on the inside of their elbows. Those hooks are to hold the females' forelimbs up when they're doing their breeding thing. So they'll hold her up with the forelimbs, and they have their pedipalps, which are pedipalps are basically like if your lips decided to become arms. That's what pedipalps are. They're kind of like hyper developed mandibles. And they do have a lot of the genes that make legs grow, so they look very similar to legs. But the males have these round things on the front of them, like boxing gloves, is what they kind of look like on the like fist on the ends of them. Those are where their semen is. They take their semen from down here, put it in their boxing gloves, and then they hold the ladies' front forelimbs up with their hooks on the inside of their elbows, and they take their little boxing gloves and they put the semen into her purse. And it's a delicate procedure. Not all tarantulas have those, but for the most part, you can tell. Goliath bird eaters, I believe the males do have the hooks, so you kind of can tell. But yeah, I just don't see. I didn't see the point in buying it, but I haven't seen one since. I would love to get a female, but oh my gosh, they're expensive. Yeah, I did have a bird eater that died recently. My Nandu chromaticus. I did not. It did not survive the move from my mother's house to here. It had a bad molt at some point along the way. It's unfortunate because that was a species. It was one that I had raised from a tiny baby from a thumbnail sized spider, and It was about that big when it died. It's about 5 inches across, not fully grown by any means, but a good sized spider. I did notice shortly after I moved that that it had molted and moved into it molted outside, which is what they do. They come outside their hide, they put their nest down, they lay on their back on it and molt and throw their old molt off, and then they go back into their hide to wait for their chitin to set up, for it to harden. And at some point during that hardening process, she didn't make it. She didn't survive that. I don't know what happened, if there wasn't enough moisture. It was just too much different changes in the environment over the last couple of months that just gave her too much shock. But whatever happened to her, she did not make it. I know there are some parasites that can control insect behavior. Yes, mostly fungus are the ones that will do that. Cordyceps funguses are famous for doing that to ants. They'll make the ants crawl up onto the branches, and then the spore will come out. It'll rain down, or the fruiting body will come out and it'll rain down spores onto the ant population below, completing the cycle. But yeah, the cordyceps affects more than just ants, of course. All the invertebrate kingdoms are going to be hit hard with that. Okay. Although hooking up the nerves and powering it without, what are we talking about there? Need our Godspeed, Godseed. While the person suffers from being taken from their home, everyone looks for a small blurry creature. That's horrible. Yeah, it's kind of weird. We're gonna I think I am gonna dive into that if people want to see that, of course. No one did put a 1 in, so I'm thinking that y'all probably don't want to dive too much into that case, which is fine. I didn't know if anybody would be interested in that or not. I do like sleuthing, but I'm not going to put too much effort into something people don't want to see. So we are going to be moving on now from Cryptic Corner. I'm glad I'm a vertebrate too most days, because I don't have to molt. Quill, I'm so glad that you were able to make one live. I'm so happy to see you in here. Quill and I always interact on social media, on Twitter, but hardly ever get to see them in the side chat. So it's good to see you this morning. You're good either way. All right, so that was Cryptic Corner, October 10th, 2022. We did the Pombero, sightings of a little goblin creature from the middle of South America, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and I believe the other country I mentioned was Bolivia, but don't quote me on that because I think Bolivia might be a little too far north. Anyway, thank you if you're watching this on Friday. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week with more Cryptic Corner. But everyone else, let's move right along, because this is the main thing I wanted to talk about, and this is the one that I did not talk about, that I did not bring up at all last year, and I kind of regret not doing it. So I'm going to make up for it now. Yeah. Just real quick before I move on from Cryptic Corner, I just wanted to say that the woman with the kidnapping the little boy, I think that animal in the background, I want to say it's a sloth. It looks like a sloth to me. So that is what it is. But that the dogs are barking at. Yeah, today is the 8th. All right, so moving on to the creation watch for today. So we are going to be talking about Our Lady Fatima and the Miracle of the Sun. Who is familiar with that? It's a Catholic tradition, I guess you would say. But the story goes that in 1917 in Portugal, in Fatima, that there were three shepherd children that sighted and saw the Virgin Mary herself. Goodness. There, I can read that a little bit better. I have some notes over here that I'm keeping. Now they she would appear to these three little kids and make claims that they're going to be miracles and such. The word got around through local newspapers and people kind of really were taken by these visions these kids were having regarding the Virgin Mary making predictions. And she did make a prediction that on October 13th, so 5 days from now, but in 1917, which is why I wanted to cover this now, that there would be a miracle that everybody would be able to see over this field in Fatima. Okay, so there was this prediction that this little girl made. Of course, there were her two cousins with her as well, but for the most part, we want to focus on what the prediction said. So they did. It was kind of vague. So what people saw, people came on this pilgrimage because they were very devout. This is very Catholic area, very devout Catholic region. These are rural country people. The local newspaper reported on this. It piqued interest, and they they made pilgrimages, and at least thousands, if not tens of thousands. Some people claim it was upwards of 100,000 people made this pilgrimage to uh, to Portugal to see this amazing miracle that the Virgin Mary had predicted to these children. And I don't know what exactly happened. We'll get into it. But first, we just need to, I want to look into the characters a little bit here, the major players, because Lucia, the oldest of the children, and the other two were her cousins. And they both died of like influenza just a couple of years after this happened. So she's the only one that kind of came away from that and grew into adulthood. But she never recanted her visions, and she lived to be like in her 90s. So the thing is that not even her own mom believed her sightings. They did. This was not the first time that Lucia came in with stories of religious visions. The friar at her local parish did advise that she had religious delusions before this. So seeing the Virgin Mary was just the latest in a string of sightings that this child reported. The other ones including angels and stuff, making different claims. Now, of course, someone who is devout enough can believe that, yes, all her religious visions were true. She did see angels. She did engage with the spirit of Mary, but I'm gonna doubt it until I see further evidence that because this isn't the only time that a miracle of the sun has occurred. Hold on, can't even see. my coffee and I are here, and holy crap, we are doing Fatima. We are doing Fatima because I've had so many apologists, both Catholic and non-Catholic, come at me with Fatima as a legitimate miracle. And no, it's not legitimate. There's so many holes in this that and we're going to look at them today. There's not. Now, first of all, you have all these people making these pilgrimages primed to experience a miracle, to experience the divine, their reverence for the mother of Jesus. They were so devout, so primed to have an experience when they got out to that field that day on October 13th in 1917. Now, again, the number of people making the pilgrimage is speculative. There are some great pictures of massive crowds of people gathered. I mean, look at the number of folks that are showing up for this event. Now, whether or not all these pictures are from Fatima, from the actual event, I cannot say. It's peculiar that the one where the folks have umbrellas and it's raining looks very different from the rest of these. And this one is the one that I would, of all of them, that I would say is the most chance of being authentic, because if we look at the weather reports and things from that day, it was cloudy and rainy and stormy. Just not a beautiful day. And these people don't seem to be necessarily dressed for getting downpoured on. They seem more. They almost seem like they're posing, especially the fact that, I don't know, is that the same woman there with the cane? Almost like they had a group of people to stand and pose for this. Oh, that's for the end of the show. So, what was the miracle of the sun? That is the question, right? What exactly did these people see? So they get there, and at the appointed hour, and like I said, it was stormy and rainy and gross. Not a gorgeous day. And suddenly the sun broke through the clouds and something happened. What happened? What did the sun do? What? Because no one seems to know. No one can give a straight answer. Did it spin? Did it bounce around? Did it change colors? Because everyone who reported the event sort of said something different. But the closest that we can get is that the sun turned into a spinning wheel of color. Now, there are several astronomical phenomena that can cause such reactions from the sun. Simply having a rainbow with they keep that is continuously broken, a sundog, things like that. All these different astronomical phenomena that can cause the sun's rays to bend and to split into different colors. There are a lot of factors that could come into play, especially considering the conditions where it has been stormy and rainy, and then the sun is coming out. Obviously, that's prime conditions for things like a rainbow or double rainbow, with the sun being broken up and the rays fractaling into different directions and maybe causing some sparkling effects. A lot of things could have happened, but you have these people with their primed brains, ready to have an experience as predicted by the Virgin Mary to this little child. And they said they gather again at the appointed hour, and the sun breaks through. This visual phenomena that no one can agree on happens, and we have the miracle of the sun. This happens. This isn't the first time or the only time that such a claim has come forward. This is just the most famous. There's been other people presenting things as miracles of the sun. There's even some videos at it. Let me see. Did I save that one? Somebody recently did one. I think maybe. Yeah, here we go. Let me pull that over into. So this is the kind of stuff that people present when they say that they're experiencing the miracle of the sun. I'm not interested in mystic.
This unforgettable video of a great sun miracle taken near Apparition Hill was recently posted on Facebook. This is a vision of Jesus, says the videographer.
So this is her claiming she has a miracle of the sun because so I think that the ISO setting on her camera causing this. Because I'm assuming that it's the growing and shrinking as she moves her camera back and forth of the light. What does this have to do with Jesus? Right, it's the movement of the camera that's causing it. You can kind of see that. Sky trumpet video. We'll look it up. We'll look it up here in a second. Let's wrap up this Lady Fatima stuff though, because we have a little bit more to go over. But this is the type of phenomena that people talk about when they say miracle of the sun, and I just don't find anything specifically anything particularly compelling about that. Definitely feel free to disagree with me though. If you think that any of these videos on the miracle of the sun are legit or that there's actually something happening there, let me know because I am not convinced by this. I maybe that's because my first endeavor into it, I discovered, and go watch it if you haven't watched it. Skeptoid did a great breakdown of the events and what happened. So there is not too much more to say about it, really. Again, I my first exposure to really, I mean, I'd heard of it before, but I never really looked into it. Was via the Skeptoid podcast about it. So I got it debunked as soon as it was presented to me, essentially. And when I still hear people presenting it as a authentic miracle, I just don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, I think that since that was a little bit short, again, it's not, there's not much to say about Fatima. It was some kind of astronomical phenomenon. Maybe there was nothing at all, but just the sun breaking through that gave people the pause to say, "Hey, this is something miraculous happening." It could be, but I don't. I don't feel that there's enough evidence and enough compelling evidence for the event to actually even be considered legitimate. There's been numerous people, including Catholic priests, um, who have investigated this phenomena and investigated this particular sighting, and they've come away with inconclusive because of the varied reporting on the phenomena. It was inconsistent at best as to what people were seeing and what was happening, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the priming your brain. So when the sun breaks through the clouds, you're looking for anything and everything. That is this. Here's the sign. Here's what Mary predicted. Whatever it is what it is, and people went with it and people rolled with it, and that's how this stuff kind of happens. So what do you? Let's look into this. I'm gonna go with looking into the sky trumpet thing because I have plenty more time to go because we are still super early in the show. We're only at an hour. I'm just about out of content for today. Again, it's because today was planned to be shorter due to the big stream last night. I didn't have time to write too much. So, but we're going to look at your sky trumpet. Sure. Is it a sound? Is it audio? Here we go. Trumpets heard in the sky. Bear with me. I'm just pulling it up. Let's go to YouTube and look it up there. You should be able. You said there's a video, right? Godseed. It's a video I'm looking for sky trumpets. Sky trumpet sound. This one from 2017. Let's see what we have here. And of course, my stupid connection is so slow. Something about baseball. There we go. Monty Python, yeah. Siren Head, he's coming. Sky trumpets. It's God farting. Yeah, they're. That won't be rough. Good find, Godspeed. I'll have to look into this stuff. I'm not sure what this could be. It's definitely a similar sound on all of them, just maybe in different pitches. And this is looks like a foggy, foggy day. Almost sounds like a foghorn too. We got low-hanging clouds overhead. Really low-hanging clouds, it looks like. So could terrestrial sounds be reflecting off those low-hanging clouds and reverberating back into? Tulsa was in the USA too, bud. Another foggy day. And sound does travel different on a foggy day, I will say that. Um, we was waiting for Siren Head to pop out of the fog. I don't know if you guys know Siren Head or not, but yeah, they test the tornado sirens here. The second Tuesday, or yeah, second Tuesday of every month, they test the sirens here because I live in the Midwest too, and they have tornado sirens. What on earth could this even possibly have to do with the rapture, though? What does it have to do with the rapture? I guess my question. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. This is fun. You just like got me doing. This is basically a cryptic corner on the fly here. You got me doing. Thank you. And I kind of like this resolution I got set up here too. With since these are just audio, and I can do a little bit bigger, and you haven't seen my facial reactions. Mwah. Where are we? I don't even know where we are. Give a location again. Somewhere tropical. There's palm trees. The low hanging clouds again. It seems to be either foggy or with low hanging clouds seems to be a contributing factor to whatever this audio phenomena is. And the noises, they kind of sound like metal scraping on metal. Yeah, I'm not playing your song though, because this channel has other stuff. I'm gonna subscribe to this channel because they look like they have some pretty cool stuff. Wish everything wasn't moving so slow today. Here's some more strange sounds. Let's see what we have here. Scary, disturbing sounds coming from the Canadian woods. Let's see if this is the same kind of phenomenon. This one's a lot shorter. And you got like 20 minutes intros here. Yeah, subscribe to my channel. That's an animal. Hold on. I think I know what that was. Crank up the volume on it so we can hear it. I think maybe that's elk bugling. Let's see. Bell. How did I end up at Jeff's page? Yeah, Jefferson Spatchcock is streaming live now. The son of a bitch. He has 106 viewers, and I have 14. Let's see what this elk sounds like, though. That makes some wild sounds. Check out the nostrils when it does this. While I'm making you all listen to elks bugling, I just a lot of these sounds and stuff coming from the woods. I always think it's just this. Look at his wiener going around down there. He's peeing while he does this. And that carries for miles and miles. So that's an elk. Let's see, other creatures bugle too. Let's see, like moose bugle. They sound a little bit different, so we're going to look up that just to see if we can pin down what that Canadian sound was. Here's some moose calling, moose sounds, and noises. Let's hear them. Hit us with your moosiness. That's a baby. So cute. Oh, baby mooses are adorable. There's like a chuffing. Like a, Mhm. Oh, this is so cute. I was not, but caribou are another creature that screams in the night. Sounds pretty much like the elk though. There's the caribou screaming from Polar Express. Terrifying elk scream. Let's hear it. That looks like it's down maybe in Grand Canyon National Park. Let it out. Let it out. That's not terrifying. What's terrifying about that? Anyway, so yeah, we had a little bit of a surprise journey into sky trumpeting and exploring some of the ideas about that. I did do some videos previously about screams in the woods that people were saying were Bigfoots, but I may revisit these sky trumpets at some point because it looks like there's a lot more of it than what we just went over. But yeah, I'm gonna cut this episode short, an hour and 23 minutes, not too bad. But we did have a great stream last night with Matt on. So if you haven't watched that yet and you're itching for more Hive Science, it should be finished, loaded up now, and ready to view. Um, Thank you always for joining in. I loved that you guys were dropping ideas into the side chat for things we could look into. The sky trumpets was interesting. So we did cover on Cryptic Corner. We had the Pomero, the little goblin guy from South America. We did Our Lady Fatima, talking about the miracle of the sun. And then we did our little. Oh yeah, I didn't do my Hive Science yet. We got a whole other segment to do, and then we did just the sky trumpet thing to fill out that rest of that time because Fatima didn't take as long as I thought. I wanted to talk about this though because this is hilarious. Um, so, boo boo doo doo doo. Need to keep cockatoos out of your trash. Trash. Try brick sticks or shoes. Weighing down or wedging the trash bin lid closed towards pesky parrots, but they may adapt. So, in Australia, these folks have been in an ongoing back and forth war with cockatoos, raiding their trash bins. Human trash can be a cockatoo's treasure. In Sydney, the birds have learned how to open garbage bins and toss trash around in the streets as they hunt for food scraps. People are now fighting back. Bricks, pool noodles, spikes, shoes, and sticks are just some of the tools Sydney residents use to keep the sulfur crested cockatoo, Cakatua galerita, from opening trash bins. Researchers report September 12th in Current Biology. The goal is to stop the birds from lifting the lids while the container is upright, but still allowing the lids to flop open when a trash bin is tilted to empty its contents. The interspecies battle could be a case of what's called an innovative arm race, says Barbara Klum, a behavioral ecologist at the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior in Randolph-Zell, Germany. When cockatoos learn how to flip trash can lids, People change their behaviors, using things like bricks to weigh down the lids to protect their trash from being flung about. That's usually a low level protection. And when the cockatoos figure out how to defeat that, Clump says, that's when people beef up their efforts and the cycle continues. Researchers are closely watching this escalation to see what the birds and humans do next. With the right method, the cockatoos might fly by and keep hunting for different targets, or they may learn how to get around it. In the study, Klump and colleagues inspected more than 3,000 bins across 4 Sydney suburbs where cockatoos invade trash to note whether and how the people were protecting their garbage. Observations coupled with an online survey showed that people living on the same streets were more likely to use similar deterrents in those efforts, and those efforts escalated over time. Okay. Tricks such as attempting to scare the parrots off with rubber snakes don't work very well, Clump says, nor does blocking access to the with heavy objects such as bricks. Cockatoos use their brute force to push them off. Hanging weights from the front of the lid or wedging items such as sneakers and sticks through the bin's back handle work better. The team didn't see any birds get inside bins with these higher levels of protection. Finding hints at an arms race, Clump says, but the missing piece is how the birds will respond as people try new ways of blocking bins. Some survey responses suggest that the parrots are learning. Bricks seemed to work for a while, but the cockies got too clever. One survey respondent wrote, neighbors on the other side of the highway suggested sticks. They work. Let's watch these parrots figure this stuff out. These are, again, cockatoos getting into trash bins. Let's see. Okay, here's how they get into them regularly. Just flipping the lid on back. A feast to be had. Let's throw all the trash out that we don't need. Oh, he found something to eat right away. All right, they put a brick on there. So he's just going to use his little beak to scoot it right off. Take your time, little buddy. Do it like one side at a time. This is how I move furniture about because I'm a little lass and I don't have all that upper body strength you might need. Much like the little cockatoo. All right, and now it's open again. Feast to be had. So that's figuring out how to get past the bricks. Let's read on. It would be interesting to explore the benefits and issues of different methods from the perspective of both humans and birds, says Ann Clark, a behavioral ecologist at Binghamton University in New York, who wasn't involved with the work. I'm curious the degree of effort that people put into this and whether sometimes that effort limited their use for one solution versus another. Some people, for instance, might not have the time to attach small weights to the lid of their bin or might depend on their children who can't lift heavy bricks to put out the trash. Now, my mom has her trash bin outside, and she lives like on the edge of a kind of a rural area and on the edge of some wildlife area. So raccoons do come up into the area. She puts a brick on top of her can, and that generally keeps the raccoons out. But they could innovate at some point. They're not quite as smart as the cockatoos, it seems. All right. Where were we? There we are. In the same vein, cockatoos may stay away from tactics that take too long to beat. Bricks, for instance, are easy to quickly push off the bin. Breaking sticks or pool noodles wedged through the bin's back handle could take more time. Perhaps if enough people in the neighborhood adopt this highly effective method, Clark says, the cockatoos may not find it worth it to stop by. Let's watch another one. I like watching them figure this stuff out. Let's see here. In the suburbs of Sydney, Australia, it's birds versus humans. Sulfur crested cockatoos. There's the same guy doing the same thing we saw before. It's going to be the same clip. Oh, no, there's some more. And they put water bottles in there, and this one's got this. Here's the one with the bricks, but one with the water bottles behind there. Same thing with same design with the shoes. Try to make it so that the hinged side is what they struggle with. Yeah, it's the same clip. Other than that, so I'm not going to continue watching it. Okay, so yeah, that is these cockatoos figuring out how to best their human competition. And this is how evolutionary arms race happen. They keep putting bricks on there, and the parrots continue to try to raid those. The ones that have more muscle power may be favored in the population because their ability to push these bricks off or force these bin lids open. That may become a feature of the population that lives in this area. They may start to develop larger birds. Larger birds may be the ones that take hold in the community, I should say. But time will tell, and I will probably revisit this too because this is fun and interesting. Anyway, yeah, so that was a little piece of HiveScience today. And why do I still have a rings message pulled up? I'm really bad about that. Sorry. The weight will be better on the inside. It's like putting your hinges out on the door. Yeah, having the weights on the inside. I think wedging in the handle there is probably uh, the best solution at this point. But I can see how two birds working together one could just hold the lid up enough for them to get in there and get the food or whatever out, and then come back out, and they close the lid and eat on top of the can. I could see that becoming a method that they use. Anyhow, super fun episode of Live from the Hive. Let me recap again. We had the South American goblin creature, the little fireman for Cryptic Corner. We had Our Lady Fatima and the Miracle of the Sun for Creation Watch. Then we did a second little peek into Cryptic Corner doing sky trumpets, and finishing things up with these cockatoos figuring out how to open trash bins. So that was our show for today, Saturday, October 8th. We will be back next Saturday with another episode of Live from the Hive. And there should be something coming up in the evenings here fairly shortly. So we will be announcing that. But in the meantime, please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next week.